The storm had just passed. The streets were slick with rain, and the city seemed to breathe a sigh of relief after the chaos. Jake Monroe, a 34-year-old delivery driver with weary eyes and a heart full of quiet resilience, pulled his rusty van up to the curb on Main and Jefferson. He was behind on rent, his phone bill was overdue, and his mom's hospital expenses weighed heavy on his mind. But none of that showed on his face. Not when he was working. Jake had always believed in one thing: do good, no matter how small. And that belief was about to change his life. He spotted her just as he was about to pull away. An elderly woman, no younger than 80, stood on the corner clutching a walker, her silver hair soaked, her coat too thin for the wind. Cars zipped past without pause. She looked left, then right, then left again, confused, hesitant. Jake didn't think twice. He threw the van in park, hopped out, and jogged through the rain toward her. "Ma'am, you need help crossing?" She looked up at him with tired eyes, softened by surprise. "Would you, dear?" He smiled. "Of course." He held her elbow gently, walking with her at a careful pace, shielding her from the rain with his body. It wasn't heroic, just human. He dropped her off safely on the other side and she squeezed his hand. "You're a good man," she said. "They don't make many like you anymore." Jake just tipped his cap, smiled, and went back to his van, never thinking about her again. But someone else had been watching. The next morning, as Jake loaded up for his usual delivery run, he noticed a sleek black SUV parked across from his apartment. Tinted windows. Engine running. Odd, but not enough to concern him. Not until he noticed it again 3 stops into his route, always a few cars behind, never too close, never too far. He brushed it off. Maybe he was being paranoid. The city had its share of strange people. But then it followed him to the diner. And the gas station. And the alley behind his stay. Jude's shelter where he dropped off a box of leftover food every Thursday. His heart began to pound. Was it a debt collector? Someone dangerous? Should he call the police? But what would he say? "I think I'm being followed, but I'm not sure by who, and they haven't done anything?" He parked in an open lot and waited. The SUV pulled in slowly. The driver's side door opened. A tall man in a sharp suit stepped out, sunglasses covering his eyes. Jake clenched the steering wheel. But then the man raised both hands, palms out. "Mr. Monroe," he said calmly. "Don't be alarmed. I'd just like a moment of your time." Jake stepped out slowly, cautious. "What's this about?" The man reached into his pocket. Jake flinched, but all he pulled out was a card. "My name is Richard Clark. I'm the executive assistant to Ms. Margaret Langford." Jake blinked. "Who?" "The woman you helped cross the street yesterday." Jake's eyebrows lifted. "She sent you?" Richard nodded. "MS. Langford is the founder of Langford Enterprises. Billionaire philanthropist. She saw what you did. She was deeply moved. I just helped her across the street. She believes small acts of kindness are the truest measure of a person's character. She wants to meet you." Jake wasn't sure what to expect when he entered the Langford estate that afternoon. The gates were taller than any building in his neighborhood. The house looked like it belonged in a movie. But inside, he found the same fragile woman from yesterday sitting by a window, dressed in a warm shawl, her eyes bright with life. "You again," she said with a chuckle. "You look just as surprised as I was yesterday." Jake laughed nervously. "I didn't think a simple favor would get me all this attention." She patted the seat beside her. "Tell me about yourself, Jake Monroe." And so he did. About the delivery job. About caring for his sick mother. About the rent notices and the dreams he'd put on hold. She listened without interrupting, without pity. Just presence. When he finished, she leaned back. "You remind me of my father," she said. "Hardworking. Quietly kind. Never asking for anything, but deserving so much more." He nodded, unsure where it was all going. I want to offer you something, Jake, she said. A job. Not just any job. I run a charitable branch of my company. We need people like you. People with a heart. You'll have stable pay, full benefits, and time to care for your mother. Jake's mouth opened, but no words came out. He felt something stir in his chest, a strange, unfamiliar lightness. Why me? He finally whispered. Because you stopped to help an old woman when no one else would. Not for praise. Not for profit. Just because it was right. Months passed. Jake took the job. He thrived. He used his first check to move his mom into a better clinic. He bought a second-hand car that didn't stall on rainy days. He delivered food and hope through Langford's outreach programs. And he always remembered that rainy morning on Main and Jefferson. The black SUV never followed him again. But something else followed him wherever he went: respect, purpose, and a quiet kind of happiness. Because kindness doesn't go unnoticed forever. And sometimes, the smallest gesture opens the biggest door.